Absolutely. So my father was a union steward at a plant in Westport, Mississippi. So early on, I was around union activists that was always going out striking for rights and workers' rights in particular. Also, I had two aunts that were members of the Mississippi Association of Educators. They really shaped my childhood. Each summer, we would travel to Jackson to attend the MAE summer meeting, and there I got an opportunity to meet other educators from across the state. Sure. So we're over 8,000 members strong, and we represent educators throughout the state of Mississippi. And when I say educators, not just classroom teachers, but also bus drivers, cafeteria workers, school personnel that are inside of our public schools throughout Mississippi. Two that come to mind for me would be school choice and educator pay. I'll begin with school choice. One thing we know about our public schools across Mississippi, they really depend on the state for funding, especially when we think about our rural areas throughout Mississippi. So when you introduce a concept such as school choice, it sounds like it would be a great idea and people would just really love for that to happen. But when you start to go down and you start to investigate, you start to realize that many of the school choice advocates that push that initiative, they leave out the fact that we will start to take public dollars from our public schools. Our public schools in Mississippi are already strapped for cash and really depend on those funds from the state just to make it from year to year. The second thing that I mentioned was educator pay. And we focus a lot on teachers, but here at MAE, we focus on educators, that being our school bus drivers, our teacher assistants, our school nurses. Educator pay is something that we're really concerned with at MAE, and we're really advocating around with our legislators. So I thought about that for a moment. I thought about policies, and then I actually started to reflect back on how that Mississippi miracle actually happened. That was the hard work of our educators throughout the state. I actually was a second grade teacher during the time we started implementing some of the policies that was put forth by our legislature. I really can't key in on just one curriculum. What I do recall and what I've had an opportunity to speak with other educators across the state around, it was really hard work. Like our teachers had to go and get professionally developed through different streams of curriculum that the state was putting in place. Also, there were a lot of hours spent on learning new material from our educators. One thing that comes to mind, and I've had an opportunity to speak with different educators about it, is support from administration. And when I say administration, I'm talking about those school level administrators. Maybe it's the building principal or the district superintendent. Really equipping our educators with the materials and resources that they need to be successful in the classroom. So I remind our educators quite frequently that the legislators who make the policies for our Mississippi schools, these are men and women that you go to church with, men and women that you might be in a sorority with, you might be in a fraternity with, that you might have a child on the same little league baseball team with. Just having conversations with legislators around what's important. When you talk to your legislator, making sure that they hear your personal story, what it looks like being in your classroom from day to day, just sharing those stories. So sometimes I see a Facebook post or a social media post slamming your neighborhood public school. And the one thing that I would love for parents to really keep in mind, our educators are really working hard. Oftentimes they're given a small amount of money, they're given a small amount of resources, but they're expected to do more. And you can see that through our test scores that we'll recently receive. So I always encourage our peers and our community leaders, if you can, volunteer a day or so at your local public school. Maybe there is a teacher that needs someone to help organize books throughout the classroom. Maybe there's an administrator that could use an extra hand in the cafeteria doing lunchtime duty. Volunteer at your public schools, but also speak positively around our public schools. What we've found, over 80% of our students in Mississippi attend public schools. And these public schools are right inside of our communities. Yes, and I'm going to put this out. Our community members actually need to vote. They need to show up and vote, especially for legislators who are friendly toward our public schools. And you can find this information through the websites that are posted. Just by having conversations with legislators, you can find out where they are on public schools. And if you're speaking with legislators and they're saying negative things about public schools, it might be time for you to advocate around that, especially in our community. Encouraging everyone to go out to vote, encouraging everyone to support your local teacher. Your local teacher could very well be someone who is in your neighborhood, who lives next door to you. So I just left a public school in Raymond, Mississippi, and the teachers, here we are in the middle of May, and they're still showing up each day. So that gives me hope. But not only are our educators showing up each day, our students are so also. If you go back and you look at some of the different news stories that you see our students doing great things. You see them not only doing great things in their communities, but once they leave our public schools and go off to college, you see them doing great things as well. Our students are the hope for the future, and we just have to pour our support and our resources into them. Absolutely. Just also circling back to the point of our public schools are in our communities. They need our support. Our educators need our support. And most of all, our students are depending on us to make the right choice and to do the right things toward public education.